Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. This is April with the-travelcollective.com and yourphototravelguide.com. So I just wanted to hop on. It is Thursday, the end of April. So it is getting time to really get serious if you're going to be taking time away this summer. I did listen to Peter Greenberg yesterday. He's an excellent source of information if you're looking for up to date, what's happening, when to book, all of that information. The travel, though, is going to be a challenge, but I did notice that Southwest currently dropped a sale. They're doing these quick pop-up sales where they're really only there for about 36 hours, so you kind of got to hop on them, get on their mailing list, follow them on social media to know when these sales are dropped and react quickly. Some of the other sites, if you want to sign up and follow me, I've got a newsletter I send out, try to send it out weekly and let you know about some special fares I'm seeing as well. And again, these are got to act on these quick. So I'm trying to pull up southwest.com right now. It's not coming up, but I wanted to take a minute and hop on over. My specialty is New England. And again, it's getting that time of year where it's time to think about booking and where you might want to stay. And again, adding in extra time. I was on a conversation last night, and there are a couple sites you might want to check out. One is Direct Flights From, and that one keeps you posted as far as if there are airports that fly directly from your city. So put in your closest city, directflights.com, and I'll put that in the show notes. Then you can take away maybe that aggravation of having to switch planes. Then you may have to drive a little bit further, but those are some things to think about. Or sometimes we simply get stumped where we want to go somewhere, we don't know where to go, we don't know who to go with, which brings up my next point. If you're looking for travel friends, travel partners, meetup.com is a great place. There are many Facebook groups too. Just when you're looking through the Facebook groups, be mindful and look at when their last post was. I know I saw a buddy group recently the other day, and the last post was like from 2 years ago. So obviously it's not an active group. And apparently these groups just kind of hang there. They don't get closed down, they don't go away. So always kind of look at the details and look at who responds to you as well. It's a little bit of common sense, as we know, but I was recently trying to sell something on Facebook, and it's amazing how quickly people can create fake profiles that don't have any information, no history, no, it just looks like they're just ghost accounts, which in some cases I think they are. So be mindful of that. Airbnb can be a great resource if you're looking for a different way to travel. Be sure and check the cleaning fees. I know we were discussing that the other day with Peter Greenberg. They are supposed to show the total amount, but again, really look at that cleaning fee and the additional fees that they're offering, because oftentimes the per night price is really looks very affordable, looks very doable, but then when you get to adding everything up and checkout times, with an Airbnb, you may not be as flexible on your checkout time unless you contact the owner ahead of time. These are where the questions, reaching out ahead of time, see how quickly you get a response. I often say it's worth creating a question just so you can see how quickly that response time is. So I'm going to pull up TripAdvisor. I'm going to go to share my screen so we can take a look at that. See if you can see that there. I'm not going to log into TripAdvisor, but I am going to, let's make this bigger so you can see it. This darn thing. Here we go. Let's make this a bit bigger. And let's see what kind of questions we can answer quick. So I'm going to go into the forums where a lot of people ask the questions. There's lots of places to look for finding free tours, walking tours. But again, do your research on lodgings. I was recently in Los Angeles, and you often see a great price, but do a Google search. How far are you going to be walking for a restaurant? A couple beach hotels I looked at, there was really nothing nearby. And as many of you know, there is a homeless issue in many cities. It's not limited to what you're hearing on the news. So it depends on your comfort level. You know, are you going to want to just feel like you're stuck in your hotel, or are you going to want to feel like you can walk outside at night and get to and from your hotel and feel comfortable and safe? So let me let me go to the forum. Let's go to the US. And we'll pop on and answer a few questions and see if we can help some travelers here. And as always, you can email me at april@aprilart.com and drop me your travel question. I'll be happy to answer it. I will try to do these about once a week. Some weeks I've been taking off. As you can imagine, I do like to travel. So let's see what we've got. We've got the first one, itinerary advice. Hi guys, we're flying into Boston July 20th and leaving again on August 1st. The main focus of our trip will be Nova Scotia. So that's interesting, from Boston to Nova Scotia. Okay, well, it looks like they're going to arrive in Boston, then go to Portland, then Acadia, then on to Nova Scotia. It's interesting then that they're going to circle back. So they're going to spend a lot of time driving. So that might be a concern. They may want to, there's a lot of breweries, they're mentioning breweries. I might want to also look at your drive times. You know, you've got a small baby or small children, sometimes you need to stop more frequently. And I'm not sure why you would want to, well, I guess it makes sense so you can rent the car in one place and in and out. I think Acadia is a great place if you are there over the weekend. It is going to be a bit more crowded. And with a baby, again, depending on your comfort level of putting the baby in a backpack, you might want to start checking now on their website for things like short hikes, easy hikes. So that's what I would say about that. In fact, I will put some notes on this one. I think Acadia in summertime is a great place to be, but I also can imagine can get kind of crazy and crowded and loud. So again, this is where using your Google Maps and kind of seeing where your hotel is in relationship to bars or restaurants that stay open late. I know it takes a little bit more digging and research, but that research can pay off. You want to know what you're getting into. As I said, I was recently in California and just reading through the negative reviews. You can click in TripAdvisor to look at the negative reviews. What are the negative comments and when were those posted? You know, I think there's a lot that has changed between pre-COVID and post-COVID. And also double check reviews. You can go, besides TripAdvisor, there's yelp.com. There's actually Google does reviews as well. So you can check both. Here's itinerary suggestions, 2 weeks in October. So let me go back. Again, they've got 26 responses. Italian couple, they've got a couple of weeks in New England, flying into New York, accommodation by the airport, Essex, Newport and Plymouth. I enjoyed Plymouth, but I don't know if I'd put it high on my list in fall. Depends what days. It won't get fall color till later. It might be getting fall color towards the end of October. Salem, if you like Halloween, that is a great place to be, and it can get quite crowded and crazy. From Salem all the way up to Freeport, Maine, that's kind of a drive. But again, if that's your queue, I also would advise looking at drive times, putting it into Google Maps. Rome to Rio is another good site just to kind of calculate drive times. Try different times of day as well, because if you're going past highly congested areas, it's amazing how quickly, and this again comes from living near a big metropolitan area, depending on what time, you know, you can hit some major slowdowns where you're going like nowhere very slowly. So, you know, just altering that time that you're out there driving by an hour or 2 hours can make a huge difference. From Freeport all the way to Bar Harbor, Bar Harbor to Meredith, that's going to be a long day on day 9. I might want to break that up. Meredith to Stowe, same thing, long day, full day, and it does get dark by about 6:30 at night. So I think there's a lot in this itinerary. I think it's a little overpacked, but that's just me. For some people, they like to knock out as many things as they can. So again, it's all about in how you like to take photos. If you're not much of a photographer, if you want to sit down and have a sit down meal at a restaurant, again, that's going to add in more time versus doing a picnic lunch. So I'll go back and put some comments on that one. Fall colors. Here's a itinerary question. Reunion of sorts, would fly into same airport. Thoughts are to rent a couple of cars or van. Goal is fall colors, low stress, and spending time together. Well, if that's your goal, she's not saying, she or he who posted this is not saying how many days they hope to do this in, if we're just talking a long weekend or a short weekend. Also, you may want to look at an Airbnb. You also may want to see how far that is from the airport. So if people are getting in and out at different times, that adjustments can be made. I'm going to drop some suggestions. Again, I would look at the airports that are near this area. Like that's maybe my first thing is checking. I would look at airports, you know, how, depending on ages, who wants to make a connection. Depending on airports, sort that first, and then maybe choose a hotel for the first night near the airport. So if older members are delayed, no one gets left behind. October, I think it's still going to be busy in this area. So just some things to check out. So let's go back here. What else we got on the New England forum? New England over Christmas, scenic route Acadia to Cooperstown. New England fall trip decision. West to east or east to west? I think that depends. You know, the east to west part and the other part, it's, you know, it's hard to say. They want to avoid flying into Boston and do not need to do a loop, so they're looking at the following: flying into Albany or Burlington. Yeah, and then flying out of Portland or Bangor. I might reverse it. I might fly in to the northern part of Maine when it's a little quieter, even though Maine can hold onto its colors later into October. So it kind of depends. Honestly, they've got the Lincoln Conway area here in the middle. I think it would be based on when you might want to, where you might want to be date wise for Lincoln and Conway. That's my 2 cents, at least, on this. 30th anniversary, 2 weeks. So I've been reading lots of posts. In particular, I know this is peak season. Yes, they need to definitely book early. I think I would stick with this, you know, keep it into October as much as possible, because even last year I was in northern parts of New England and the color was a bit delayed in some areas, though the color was incredible last year. So, you know, it really depends on your interests and how important those fall colors are in mapping out your stay. So I'll drop a note on that one as well. Interesting that they're from Iowa, as I've spent many years in New England and originally I'm from Iowa. So let's see what else we have in this itinerary section that I'll have to go back and answer. Fall itinerary help. This is from Alice. We are a family of 4. a 26-year-old daughter and a 22-year-old son, and we are planning a trip to the New England area for 2 weeks this October. We are going to start with a few nights in Boston and finish with a few nights in New York City. They want to fly into Boston, 3 nights in Boston, pick up a car, 3 nights somewhere with fall foliage, 3 nights somewhere coastal, and then take the train to New York City and 3 nights in New York City and fly home from New York City. I think the best parts of New England, you are going to need a car. The train isn't going to get you into the areas with the waterfalls and the pull-offs. So I really think having a rental car gives you a lot more flexibility on where you go and what you can see and what you can do. Otherwise, it really becomes a city trip. And in that sense, you might want to spend some time in like Portland, Maine or something. But honestly, or just stay in Boston, but then Boston's colors turn later. So that would be another option. But honestly, I definitely think having a rental car, I also definitely think securing where you're going to be in New Hampshire soon, as that's a very high interest area. Driving the Kank, Highway 112, is on everybody's top list of fall drives. There's plenty of coastal places in Maine. That's my preference. I didn't really enjoy Cape Cod as much as I thought I would last year. You can't get as close to the water. It's kind of boxed in with a lot of private homes. Whereas Maine, there's plenty of open coast. A lot of the hotels are right there on the ocean. And it's the one place where honestly you can stay and hear the waves. So I think there's a lot of beauty in Maine for New England, and it doesn't often as crowded. So let me answer a couple more questions before I head off for today. Family trip to New England, where do we stay? Let's check this one out. Going to be myself, my wife, and my 2-year-old daughter. Looking for a nice place to enjoy the fall weather and activities. Close to or in a walkable area with a nice downtown, like coffee shop, small and quaint. Ideally, a resort with things to do. Right off the top of my head, North Conway has several resorts. It does get kind of congested there with all of the outlet malls and honestly all the traffic of people coming north, south, and east and west trying to get to the Kank, the Route 112. So you might want to look for something a little further out. I'm thinking places north of the Kank. It's Route 302. I think there's some suggestions I can give there. Might even consider Vermont. I think you can get some beautiful weather if you have a small child. Even staying, some of the places in Vermont, you're actually staying on a farm with animals, and your breakfasts are made from the farm. And for kids, that can be a lot of excitement and give you more space to roam around in. Another place might be up along the Maine coast, because there are places there that would work as well. So those are suggestions. Someone put the Woodstock Inn, and that is a great suggestion. It is a little bit more pricey, but again, you're close to the Billings Farm Museum, as someone else noted. And I've been to the Billings Farm Museum. They have lots of activities for kids. The cows are there. You can go when they're milking the cows. You can really, a lot of things are set up for families in that area. Everything from sampling cheese and maple syrup to walking wooded paths. And once you get into Woodstock, you can park your car. There's a park, there's a green, there's some walking trails. So there's a lot to do right there. So that might be something to take into account. The other area I might take a look at might be up in around Stowe, and I'd have to look to see if there's a particular place that comes to mind. But it's a little bit more open in Stowe, but you do have bike paths. You do have some areas that are walkable, some small towns up in that area. And northern Massachusetts, there are some places there as well. probably in the Berkshires on the western side of the state. So that's what I've got for you guys today. I do have an event on Saturday where you can meet some others that love travel, hear about some amazing adventures, international travel opportunities, and just pick their brains if you've got questions or ever thought about going to like Morocco or Spain or some other amazing destinations. Join us on Saturday. You can find that link at the-travelcollective.com/events. And I hope to see you there on Saturday. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can see my face one last time and the website. And if you have a travel story, please email me. It's april@aprilart.com. And if you've got an itinerary question, I'm happy to hop on a phone call. I've been doing New England for many, many years and have been a regular on Jeff Folger's website. So thanks everyone. Have a great travel Thursday. Take care.